Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining
Thank
us in our first segment of the Sports Talk for Visually Impaired. This is a series of talk that we'll be doing from IC2 Prep House to speak to exercise and sports fitness experts in the field to try and encourage some of our students to get involved in sports or at just physical activities. So today we have with us Mark. Hello, Mark. Thank you for joining us. Right. So we'll start with Mark. Mark, can you tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and how are you, related to the sports industry?
Sure. So my name is Mark. Thanks for having me here. I'm basically a fitness manager in Trilogic Fitness. So basically, we run a corporate business for IRAS staffs, and also I'm a lecturer in the area of sports and exercise science. Passion is pretty much in the interest of fitness, health, and also a bit more into sports performance. So I coach individuals with a visual impairment, so like Colin, and also I coach other swimmers who are um, also in the area of swimming and are able-bodied in that sense. Apart from that, general fitness for clients. Yeah, and basically that's what I do.
So, yes, sorry, you wanted to add on something?
Yeah. So I think a bit of background about myself is
Mm,
that I finished my studies and I did my bachelor's and my master's in NTU in the area of sports and exercise science. So that's why I'm actually teaching those modules related to sports science in private institutions and also in NTU as well. Yeah.
wow. Wow. Okay. So we do have an expert in fitness, exercise, and sports. Um, yeah, since you're in this area, can you tell us a bit about, why do you feel sports or physical activity is something important for everyone, not just the visually impaired?
Okay, if you look at the current statistics, right now in this current century, we are not getting enough physical activity.
Mm,
And lifestyle diseases, like for example, diabetes is on the rise. People are getting more incidents of heart attack, cardiovascular diseases, strokes, and so on and so forth. And all this relates to being physically inactive or not having enough physical activity, of course, coupled by proper nutrition. So people
mm,
are eating a lot more and in different quantities, and of course the quality may not be as protein rich or as health or as in a way healthy in that sense. And coupled by again physical inactivity would cause all these lifestyle causes. And one of the main things is that physical inactivity is one of the major concerns of the current century, and that is something in which it's not helped by technology because everything is so advanced now. You have so many bus stops, you have um, transportation that is so accessible, and people don't need to move as much, right?
mm.
So even getting food is so easy. You just go on your app and you just call for food deliveries, and the food will be delivered to you. But in the past, when you want to get food, at least you need to walk, right? Yeah. So every 5 steps you take is like Burger King. Every 10 steps you take is like another bubble tea shop. So coupled with physical inactivity, this is one of the major concerns which I think we can talk about today.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'm also guilty of that. Yeah, but I guess lack of physical activity resulting in all these health complications
Mm,
also affects those with visual impairment, not just as much and even perhaps even more because
right.
these people the
Mm,
visually impaired tend to be a little
mm,
bit less active than the sighted ones. So
definitely.
you mentioned earlier on you work with Colin, who is visually impaired. Can you tell us a
Mm.
bit about your work with him? What is your experience like?
So I think we need to firstly understand visual impairment. First, there are
Mm,
different spectrum of how much sight they can see. So for Colin, I think I can't exactly remember how much sight he has, but his sight is not the best. And basically, he can't see things like, for example, further out for 2, 3 meters. So that is something we need to establish before we start working with people with visual impairment, how much sight they have. And that affects their balance, the amount of sometimes even the confidence level that they have in terms of doing physical activity. And once we understand that, we can actually tackle or rather help them in the area of how they can exercise and what are the methods that we can use to help them to achieve their goals that they are intending to reach. And of course, one of the major things is that confidence level to actually start to do physical activity may be very low. And if you don't build that, I would believe that it would impact their in the future, it would impact them greatly, because if you don't start them now, then when would you start them? Yeah.
Right, that's true. So you work with Colin in the gym. Um, how is this different from training normally sighted athlete or
Okay.
just a formally normally sighted person in the gym?
Most of the exercises we do starts from a bit more stability exercises. So we get them to be feeling more confident about doing the fundamental exercises first. We establish some sort of baseline strength, a bit of conditioning. We teach them to be more confident about the movements. Then we can actually, typically, I wouldn't say it's a major differences to someone who is able-bodied. Yeah, but you have to be a bit more mindful about the things like safety. For example, in the gym setting, there are things lying around, there are machines all over the place. So that part just need to make sure that they know where they are going, they know what they are doing. You need to just make sure that they ensure proper form. But that is what a personal trainer do. Even with an able-bodied person, you need to ensure proper form. It's just that they may not be able to see as clearly, so you need to actually demonstrate, and also sometimes may not need to demonstrate. You may even just get them into the movement and use tactile cues, like for example, holding them in that position, telling them that this is the muscle, touching them, telling them this is the muscles that you need to feel, rather than just verbally saying everything out, because that could be they may not understand when you show them, because they may not see as well. So the information that you give to them is a bit different in a sense, where you need to present to them in a different way. Yeah.
Can you be a little bit more specific? Like how would you give the information verbally
Mm,
to a sighted person as opposed to, let's say,
yeah.
Colin?
Mm. So for a sighted person, sometimes when I show them,
Mm,
they would already get 90% of understanding of how the movement looks like.
right.
But for someone who has visual impairment, you may need to actually just get them into the position, telling them a bit more information with verbal cues and also tactile cues. Like for example, if you do a squat, what is a full range squat? So your knees and hips needs to be level, and you can actually put them in that position to let them feel it before you start asking them to do 10 repetitions. Whereas
Mm,
for a sighted person, you may show them that this is, okay, this is position, okay, this is a full range squat. But you don't need to tell them that hips and knees are level, because they can see it,
right,
right?
right.
So that's, I believe, is the main differences.
Mm,
So you just need to tweak and think accordingly to what they actually cannot visualize,
mm.
and then just present the information to them so that they will be able to understand the same concept.
Mm. Okay, thank you so much, Mark, for sharing. But you see, Colin is actually, into sports for quite a while, so he's a kind of full, an athlete already. We have younger children who has not really started on their journey. How
Mm.
can we get them to, at least start a physical activity to get them
Mm.
moving? What do you think
Um,
parents can start with?
yeah. So I believe the first thing is to actually seek out someone who actually can actually maybe help them with starting out. It can be someone who is a coach, is a sports coach. And I believe in Singapore, there's so many organizations out there that offers coaching at very affordable price, or even at a free. It's really on just really signing them up to begin with.
Mm,
And with that, they would actually, most of the visual impairment individuals would be able to adapt as to the demands, because if you don't put them there, they won't be able to adapt and learn, right? And I think most of the parents are pretty fearful of getting started, and you need to push them there first, because this would impact the rest of their lives. If you
mm,
don't start them young, I would say that they will not start at all, and you will realize that it impacts their further years. So, for example, being physical inactivity would put you in a greater risk of being diabetic, right?
Mm.
Because being exercising would help to with the insulin part of the hormonal part of the individual, and it's very prevalent, and we can see so many cases now having kids having fatty liver syndromes. Yeah, it's not seen in the past, but it's seen now in kids. So that
Wow.
is pretty alarming. Yeah.
Wow, wow, even in kids. Yeah, I think one of the main concerns that some parents have is, safety of the child because they can't see. They always fear that the child will hurt
Mm.
themselves and injure themselves. What kind of tips can you give to parents or even maybe coaches here
Mm.
viewing this video, to help assure them that the child is safe?
Yeah. So if you're very worried about safety and stuff like that, you can even bring your kids out to do some physical activity as a parent,
Mm,
and that will get them started. Like for example, in a field setting where there is grass, it's very safe to actually fall. You won't twist your ankle and stuff like that. Just get them simple walking drills, simple jogging drills. Make things fun for them, especially. And if you were to get a coach, you don't need to worry because you can brief the coach about what they normally face, what are some of the things that they are not able to do so well. And then the coach would be able to actually think and actually help them. So really, when I first started with Kotlin, it was also something that is, I would say, out of my comfort zone. I was a bit fearful at the start, but understanding him, getting a few sessions into it, you realize that you will understand the individual very well, like what he can do so well, what he can't do so well, and how to actually ensure his safety.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's more of a breaking out of the comfort zone and taking that first step for the
Yeah.
parents as well as for the child. Well, thank you, Mark, so much for sharing with us. There's actually a lot more I would like to talk to you about, especially in terms of fitness and fitness training for children with visual impairment as well. But I guess we'll keep that to another session that we'll have you back with us again. All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Okay. See you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.